Back in the tiny home gym with another redneck solution. You know, I recently purchased these lever arms from Titan Fitness to run on my Rogue Monster Light rack. These are the adjustable Titan short lever arms. Disregard this shoe here. That's going to be my phone holder for when I step away from the camera to give you a demonstration here. So one of the things that I wanted to do with these lever arms is belt squats. Now you can do the Sornex J squat type thing where you just make a little support for it, and then you squat down and get in the lowest possible position and get hooked up with your carabiner, and then you stand up and you do your squats. But that's kind of inconvenient, and with the way these arms are, they're too long for you to be able to reach the rack to hold on to anything, so you have to squat. Unlike a traditional belt squat where you have a handle to help you keep your balance, you have no handles. So I wanted to solve a few of these problems. The first thing I wanted was a handle. I also wanted a position where I could clip in at the top of the rep, not on the floor. And I guess third, I wanted to extend the range of motion, because if you put this low enough to where you can actually hook up to it without getting down on your knee, then you can't actually break parallel with your belt squats. So this is what I came up with. We have one adjustable lever arm put in a low position, and then obviously we have the two plate posts that come with the Titan lever arms. They also come with these handles. So if you follow the Titan instructions, you would have just bolted the handle to one side and the plate post on the other, and you run the bolts. They just come with 2 bolts per arm, and they sandwich all together. But I didn't want to do that, because if I did that, one, I'd have a permanent handle sticking out here on the inside of the rack, and I'd have a permanent plate post sticking out here. And in this tiny gym, I just run into it all the time, and that would piss me off. So what I did is I take these off when I'm not using the lever arms. They get stored like this in this position, tall, so I can still use a J-cup here if I want to do stuff outside of the rack, like mount a shoe. And then I just pull the pin out and adjust them to whatever I want to do. And the handles and the plate posts actually store on this cross member up here. I just thread them in finger tight, and they stay up there just fine. The other thing I have here is I have a safety spotter arm. And so what I've done is, these are just, you just shove the bolt in, run it on finger tight. You don't need wrenches or any of that. It's plenty sturdy for what we're doing right now. Same thing with the plate post. They're just bolted in with the bolts that come on it, just finger tight, no big deal. The second thing we have here is this spotter arm has an eye bolt in it. Now, obviously yours won't have an eye bolt in it unless you put it in there. I didn't put the eye bolt in there for this purpose. I put it in there because this spotter arm usually lives up on that cross member facing out that way, and this pulley gets clipped to it, and then the cable runs across to this cross member, where you can see, just like this setup, where I've got a pulley hanging here, and then there's a loading pin that comes down, so I can do lat pull downs, and I have the safety strap as my leg hold down, and I can pull straight down rather than at an angle if you use like a chin-up bar or some BS like that. But you don't need the eye bolt. You could just take the carabiner and clip it right to the handle if that's what you want to do. The other end, so this is just a cheap nylon motorcycle tie-down strap. These are rated for thousands of pounds, so no problem there. And they cost $7 for 5 or something. And then down here, I've just got a hitch pin in here. Now this is one of the Rogue ones that came with the spotter arm that's got the little detent ball in it, which I kind of like because I wouldn't want it to back out. Or you could use a traditional hitch pin with the cotter key or the little spring clip on the other side. So how does this work? The last thing I forgot is that I've got my pull blocks here. These are 9-inch pull blocks. I just have one set up on each side, so the arm swings down between the blocks, giving me extra range of motion. So how this works is I have my dip belt here. You could use a belt squat too if you wanted to, and you could either put an eye bolt in this hole right here and then just clip in with a carabiner, or you could take another one of these motorcycle straps and just loop it around the arm itself. These Titan lever arms have got these rubber bumpers on both sides, so there's a nice place for it to catch right here, and I'm going to use that for the dip belt. So I just take my dip belt and I get underneath it like that, stand up. Now I've got the weight. Carabiner clips into the carabiner on my dip belt, and now I can hold on to the handle and I can perform my belt squats, right? So let me go place you in my handy dandy Chuck Taylor camera holder, and I'll show you what we've got going on. See, doesn't that shoe work out as a great camera holder? You would never imagine. All right, so like I said, the belt. Now look at how upright. I'm almost standing completely up right now, and the weight is still on this strap. I literally have to do that to unrack the weight. Clip that to my dip belt. My feet wherever I want them. Hold on to the handles. And I've got a belt squat. Clip it back in there. Ta-da! Super simple, super easy. Made use of the things that I already had. I mean, think about it. You go out and spend $1,000. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? So, we've learned a little lesson here. See this hitch pin, the little detent? Probably not that good of an idea. Here's what we're going to do to fix that. So, if you go to Lowe's, you can buy these standard 5/8 inch, assuming you have a Monster Light, hitch pin for a truck. And these have got a hole here that accepts these little keys. So the way I'm going to set this up in the future, because that just did that, is that I'll shove it through, put the carabiner here, and then put this retaining key in it just so it doesn't slip out. But again, those are only a couple of bucks, and I use those for band pegs, so I would suggest that. But yeah, think about it, right? This stows away completely in the sense that these pull blocks already on, they store back over here in the dead space behind the rack. The spotter arm and the two handles store on that cross member, and then the plate pegs store on the other cross member. And then obviously the plates go on the wall. The lever arm goes back up into its normal storage position, and you can see from the way that this one is, when there's no handle on them, they're not in the way. They're not a pain. They're just there. I mean, you can still use a J-cup on this upright if you're squatting outside of the rack or pressing or whatever. It's no big deal. So that goes completely out of the way. It's completely modular, and you get a more full range of motion. I mean, this is completely tailorable, right? You could stand up on really tall, you could make taller blocks or put plates underneath your feet, and then you could just adjust the height of this to where you could get super, super low if you really wanted to. You could, you can change the height at which the stop is by moving this pin out or in on the holes. I mean, you just really have a lot of modularity here. And so this is something I would recommend, and thanks for watching.